everyone, welcome to this playthrough for Master Division in the Labor Day tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so it's time to let's go. So now we're going to play in the middle here. Sure, you can play left side, but I do believe that there will be an easier drive for us to play in the middle. I do play with a dual ball, and the dual ball gives me power 4. And I do suggest that you play with a power 4 ball if you do have one. If not, you play with a kingmaker to give yourself the power 3. You will have to play this one 10% extra than normal. As you can see, we're lining up 5, and then we're going to go with 9.5 rings. According to our numbers, we should be playing this one 9 rings. To be on our guide, but we're playing 9.5 because we're curling the ball in the wind, which means that we're going to get some sort of tailwind in the end and be absolutely perfect when it comes to making that shot. We do have an Apocalypse level 7, which is a lot of topspin, but this play can be made with an Apocalypse 5, 6, 7, Thor's Hammer 6, 7 as well, and also it could be possibly with a Thor's Hammer level 5. As you can see that we did go with curl that was almost one ball outside the ring on the left side. And that is very important, that if we do use too much curl, then we're going to go in the rough on the left side. If we do use too little curl, then we will stay in the rough on the right side. And if we don't reach to the rough there, we're going to have if we don't reach to the fairway, we're going to have a hard time to reach for this green in 2. If you're having a power 3 ball, a kingmaker, then you will have to overpower your shot. That you know when you're lining it up if you do need to do that. And also when having a kingmaker or a dead ball, you do have some side spin on your ball as well. With the dual ball, we don't have any side spin whatsoever. So that is important to have in mind, so you're not curling as much as that you're not curling as much as you that I'm doing with the dual ball because I'm not having the side spin. So look at this position, absolute perfect position. The sniper minimum distance, we are going to use a tiny bit of backspin here, but I do suggest that you go without backspin if possible. But now when we are just in minimum position here, I kind of want to go with some backspin so we're not coming in too hot. I'm going 3 cups to the right of the pin, and then we're going to adjust for minimum distance here. So we're going to go 5. And then we're going to go 7.5 rings for 10 miles per hour. Then we need to hurry up there. So we went to make that shot, we hit it up here. Sure, we're coming in nicely towards the pin, but going short. And the reason we're going short is that we're bouncing when it's a bit more uphill, and that we do want to bounce a little bit further down so we're not standing short. Absolutely a possibility to make an hole-in-one. Sorry, an albatross, oh my god. Hole-in-one just because it's a par 3. Here on this par 3, I would like to thank Adam Samuel. That has been a big help, coming with inputs when it comes to making the Master Division playthrough. I need to mention that, of course, and not just for hole number 2, but also for hole number 4 especially. So this time we're going to go for the rough bump. We are not going to play it as our opponent is doing, but I will have to say that this play is absolutely possible to do. I remember actually from the latest Master Division tournament when we had this hole, we did play with a Bandera ball, with a power 1 ball, then we could adjust for max distance with the Guardian and bounce it nicely towards the pin. Now our opponent gets to have a wedge from the fringe, which is going to be no problem to make a birdie, but we are always looking for option to make an hole-in-one. So we're going to play with the quarterback, and we're going to go for the rough bump. As you can see, first we need to drag it out so we can take a look at the ball guideline. We're gonna go with as much as 6 bars of backspin, and then we can reduce a little bit depending on how strong the headwind is. So we went with 5.5 at that particular situation. We do want to line up so the ball guideline is on the right side of the pin, and that is the problem we do here. Now we do want to play this shot as for being 0.9 per ring. So we're going to have to adjust this one for 7 rings. So we take away, like we're not even playing it 1 per ring. We're taking away a little bit here. As you can see, we're bouncing it nicely there in the rough, but coming in too much to the left. So we'll have to adjust our ball guideline position a little bit more to the right, so we're going to be more spot on. But absolutely possible to bounce there in the rough if we are playing the shot 0.9 rings. Per 0.9 per ring. So okay, now we're going to play hole number 3. Now we're going to play max backspin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. If you do have some dead ball, I do suggest that you actually use those, because if you do go short here when we're playing short, then you're going to have a tough time to reach for the green. This is a shot I've been playing a lot of the times and it works perfectly well. We're going to adjust for max numbers from this position. 11.7 is going to give us 10 rings with Apocalypse level 7. Max backspin, no curl whatsoever. We do hit it great, which is risky because now we're going to come in too much to the right and we're going to make it bounce and we're going to make it bounce and stop. And it makes and it does stop, and we are very close there to the rough, and that is an excellent position for a second shot. I know there is players that is playing over to the fairway on the right, and the reason I'm not doing that is because I do believe like making a shot where we don't have to risk that much when it comes to the rough and the bunker is going to be a bit easier for us to at least secure the birdie. We will not see that many eagles here on hole number 3, but of course if you do make a really good drive and play yourself over to the right, then you definitely have the opportunity. But with crosswind we will have a tough time to make an eagle there from distance anyway. So we're lining it up short. That is my tip for you for hole number 3, to make the birdie opportunity as easy as possible, in my opinion. So our opponent is trying to go for the rough bump there, which is an excellent shot. Having to basically max overpower and go for the rough bump, that is a tough one, but it worked absolutely perfect. I wouldn't suggest it, but yeah, it worked. So now we're going to play with the Guardian, as much side spin to the left as possible, combined with, as you can see there, 6 bars of backspin is a must. We are going to come in with a very tough push to the right, so we will have to adjust our ball guideline position as much to the left that we can do. Have in mind here that the more we do adjust to the left, the more in play the trees are going to get. So take a look at the ball guideline here. We do adjust for 10 rings. And as you can see, the ball guideline do disappear in the end. If it do disappears when you have been adjusting only 5 rings, then you need to think again. Then you need to go with some curl to curl around the tree. Otherwise, you're going to hit the tree and you're going to just stand there short. So have that in mind. But now when the ball guideline did cut off when we were on ring 7, 8, something like that, then we are just going to make the shot at normal because the wind is going to push us past the tree, and so we're going to miss it anyway. Our opponent here is going to try to go for the rough bump. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. It's an opportunity, but in my opinion that is going to many of the times either go very long or it's going to go very short. So bounce it on the fairway over to the green. That would be definitely my suggestion for hole number 3 in this particular situation. And that goes, you know, for even if you're reaching over there, you should always try to bounce. I don't believe on going directly to that rough bounce because there is such a small piece where you can hit that you will most of the time going to hit like this, and then you're going to have a big problem, in my opinion, for that birdie. So do risk it, but don't risk it too much. So hole number 4, another tip there that comes, some input that comes from Adam Samuel here. We're going to play with the Thor's Hammer level 6. We're going to play with 5 bars of top spin here, and we're going to go with 2 bars of side spin to the right. We are going to bounce it here in the sand to roll off to the pin. We're going to go with 2 cups to the right of the pin, and then we're going to adjust for median numbers. So 8.6 with the Thor's Hammer level 6 is going to give us around 4.6 rings when it comes to that adjustment. Sure, you can play it a little bit more aggressively to be a bit closer to the cup, but in the end, look at this beauty of a shot. and that roll that is going to get us very close to the pin. Just take it maybe one cup instead and just go a little bit more aggressively towards the pin. That could possibly be an hole-in-one. But very happy with that shot and very thankful for getting the input for that shot for this playthrough. And for hole number 4, you can as well use an Oceania ball combined with the rocket to bounce on that fairway, bounce over to the green. Have in mind that you need to adjust your rocket as being in minimum distance of your club. So, and going for the rough bump there is absolutely possible with the quarterback, but then you will have to adjust a little bit more further up. But most of the times you're going to be like have to overpower, because you will have to adjust it for like 7.5 rings to be spot on there. Our opponent is going to hit this one perfect, and as you can see here with the bounce from our opponent, it gets short. You will have to adjust it like 1 ring more at least to get that roll that we do want through the sand. So okay, then we do have hole number 5, and are we going to do anything special here? Are we going to hook it? No, we're not. We're going to just play it safe and give ourselves the opportunity here to ship it in from distance. And why do we do that? It's because of the wind. We do have some crazy wind that we're going to risk more than the reward is going to give us if we do go for the hook shot. We can see our opponent is trying that, which is going to be close to be okay. But in the end, even though you make this hook shot good, you're not going to reach past the bunker there on top, and then you're going to have a short iron or a long iron. And I rather take a safer drive with my Apocalypse and then playing with the Goliath in max distance, or like another long iron in max distance, or I'm playing my wood club in minimum distance. I'm more familiar with that type of approach. That is why I'm playing like that. So we're going to line it up. Max distance of our club, max side spin, 3 bars top spin, 11.2. We're going to give this one the max number adjustment here. So 5 rings, and then we're going to go, and then we're going to need to zoom out so we don't have the trees in our way. And we're going to adjust it for 9 rings when we do have 11.2 and win with Apocalypse level 7. As you can see here, we're using half a ball of curl to the left. And that is definitely going to be something that we will have to do. So that was a good shot when it comes to hole number 5. So let's go to hole number, for the second shot on hole number 5. So as you can see here, for the second shot, we're going to play with the B52. And then we of course need to adjust this one for being a max distance. And the club is in max distance already, and we do go with as much side spin to the left as possible to try to counter for the wind that we're going to have. But that side spin is not helping us that much, as you can see, and this was a lousy shot. But we need to go with maybe a little bit less side spin or maybe some curl to counter for that incredible push that we're going to have from the wind there. So hole number 6. And now we're going to play this one with the Oceania ball, which is a wind 5 ball. And the reason I'm going to do that is because we do want to reduce the wind as much possible for the second shot. So the drive is going to be a little bit more difficult, but in the end it's going to definitely help us big time when it comes to going for the green for possibly making that eagle. We're going to go max top spin, and that top spin is like going to be applied even if you have like a Thor 7-6, Thor 7-7, Thor 7-5, Apocalypse 6, 5, 4, doesn't really matter, and also the XMI level 8. So all the drivers is possible to play with here. We are playing with an Apocalypse level 7. As you can see, we're going to have to overpower. We're lining it up so it would be 6 ring for us. We do go with 50% overpower with this shot. But as you can see, I'm a little bit too close there to the rough there on the bottom to be happy. So I do suggest here to go with a little bit more overpower than the feeling tells you. Because the ball, when it hits the ground, even though with a lot top spin, and even though looking like it's going to bounce over the rough, it's not going to do that because the ball guideline is going to be compressed due to the headwind that we do have. So, but reaching over the rough there is the goal. And it's the key as well to get yourself up for a thorn from distance. And again, I said that from the beginning of hole number 6 that we do want to reduce the wind for shot number 2. and that is because we're going to want to go with max backspin. Going max backspin in a wind like from 10 miles per hour to like 12 miles per hour with a kingmaker, it's going to affect the bounce of the ball way more than if we're going to have like 7 or 8 miles per hour in wind with the Oceania ball. So our opponent here is trying to do the same, which is almost working, but you shouldn't be that incredibly mad. If you are reaching into the rough, you will have a hard time to make the eagle, but you are going to reach for the green anyway. So max backspin here, and we're going to line up here a bit behind the pin with the ball guideline. I'm just looking here for the distance that we are in, and the thing that I will have to tell you is that you need to adjust it for max numbers here, and you also need to adjust it 20% extra due to the bounce headwind combined with playing downhill. As you can see, I'm lining up good with the ball guideline there. I like the position there. We're going to adjust this shot for being 4.5 rings, which is going to be 10% extra. 4.9 would be 20% extra for us with a thorn, but as you can see here, we're coming in close there to the pin. 20% extra would most likely give us like 0.3, 0.4 rings with a thorn, and that will definitely put us, if not just in the hole, but very, very, very close. So that is definitely a possible eagle opportunity. Not a possible eagle opportunity, of course it's a possible eagle opportunity, but a possible eagle, and something that we're going to work big time for, because I do believe that if you can get that one in your tournament round, that is going to be a huge plus for you. There are some players making a -13 and a bunch of -12 and a bunch of -11. I haven't seen a -14 yet in Master, which is something that I hope to do, not in my bracket though, but other than that. So it's but a -13 for the front, -13 for the back, -26 will for sure put you in a top 5, top 3 position in almost every bracket, in my opinion, especially if you have a good tiebreaker. But now we're going to focus on hole number 7. We're going to play this one again with a Win 5 ball, but you can play this one with basically whatever ball you have. The importance here when you play this particular shot is that first and foremost, the ball is going to be affected 10% more by the wind. So we play with the quarterback. We're going to line up there to the right side of the rough. Look at the landing position here, max side spin. We're going to go with 2.5 bars backspin. We're going to take a look at the ball guidelines position. We're going to let the blue ring just cut the rough on the right. Just cut the rough on the right, and then we're going to adjust a little bit extra here. 7.8 with the quarterback with a power 0 ball, as it is with Oceania ball, is going to give us 10% extra. It's going to give us 8.5 rings. So we're going to line it up without any curl and just let the ball do the work. So we're going to take that bounce and going to roll up nicely there to the top, coming in maybe a little bit too much to the right there. Maybe need to move the landing position just a tiny little bit, but we are very close. I like the speed that the ball comes with, and that definitely is going to that is going to help us to improve and hopefully get a hole-in-one in the tournament. So, okay, now we are going to play hole number 8, and hole number 8 is going to give us some tailwind / crosswind. Tough wind. We're going to play with a kingmaker. If you do have a power 4 ball, I do highly suggest that you play with that one. Now we're going to line up for 8.5 rings with the kingmaker for a wind of 10.9. We do over adjust a tiny little bit due to slight downhill, combined with that we will have to overpower our shot, which means that the ball is going to be in the air longer. We do go with almost 1 ball of curl to the right side, and we do go with around 30% of overpower. So not that much overpower. You can hit it great, you will still be on the fairway. You can hit on either right or left side, and then of course hitting the ball perfect, that is going to help you big time. Max topspin with your club and as much side spin as possible. I do believe that the topspin on an Apocalypse level 6 is almost better than Apocalypse level 7, because if you do come in with too much curl when Apocalypse level 7, the rough on the right side is going to be in play. Our opponent is going to try left side here, and if you don't feel comfortable playing on the right side, is definitely going to be the left side to be the play. But the second shot there, you're going to see that with our opponent's shot, it's going to be very, very difficult to be able to get that one to stop on the green, especially with some tailwind being in between clubs, etc. So, okay. Uh, Now, as you can see here, we do have a Goliath here from distance, and that is definitely going to be so much easier for us to adjust with than when it comes to playing the other direction. The problem we have here is that we're going to drop down in the bunker here with the ring, so we have to push the landing position up a little bit there, because when we drop down in bunker, the trajectory is going to change and we're going to lose a distance. So get it to bounce here, coming in a little bit short, take away one bar backspin, or maybe go without backspin here. It is close, a good shot, and definitely an opportunity for the eagle. So look at this one here. It's going to be the Goliath play that you will have to do, because you will have to go for the rough bump. That is the only way here to be able to get this ball to stop on the green. This is not going to be possible whatsoever. This is going to go far over the green, big time. Even though it hits the fringe there, it goes into the rough. It does not have enough backspin there. Last but not least, we're going to play hole number 9. Hole number 9 is going to be played with the driver that gives you the most topspin. I do play with a berserker. I know we can play with a power 4 ball as well. Maybe they like the what is called blue marble ball, or maybe a roulette ball or something like that, or snowman ball or something like that. But I do believe the berserker here, in my opinion, is going to be a bit better, because I want to reach as far as possible when it comes to bouncing over the bunker. We're going to go with 12.5 rings here, and then when we have adjusted those, we're going to push the landing position up as far to the top as possible. As much side spin to the right as possible, to combined with the top spin, slight amount of curl to the right. As you can see, they will get a really good bounce. We're definitely not going to have the trees in our way, which is a key here. Even though the second shot is going to be very tough for us, we are definitely going to have a very good chance to land this one nice and smoothly on the green. So, as you can see, our opponent is going to play right, and I don't believe that is the best way to play. I do highly suggest that you do play straight over the bunker. That's the highly suggest that you play straight forward there. So, second shot here. Now we're going to play with the Cataclysm level 7. And then you maybe want to, do I need to have Cataclysm level 7? No, you don't. You can have basically whatever type of big dog or Cataclysm as possible. And of course, if you're playing Master, you kind of know that already. So we're going to line it up. So we do want to bounce our ball in the rough there. Not as close to the top as possible, because we don't want to risk missing the rough if we do hit a poor second shot. So we're going to adjust the Cataclysm level 7 for, as you can see, 10 rings plus 2.5. So we're going to go with 12.5 rings and just going to make the shot. We're not going to risk anything here by going with any curl or something like that. Just going to make the ball do the work for us. Get the top spin to bounce in the rough with the side spin to roll nicely towards the pin. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was the playthrough for Master. Thanks a lot for watching the video. If you do have any comments or need any help, make a comment in the comment section below. This video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and here in the end I want to wish you the best of luck in the Labor Day tournament.